have come to the last part. Okay. This is installation of Scala and Scala Build 2. Okay. So I'm going to teach you how to bring in the Scala IDE download, and of course we are also going to see how to overlay the downloads on the existing Eclipse folder so that you'll be able to use Scala IDE instead. This is going to be interesting. So before I go and show you how to install Scala IDE, I want to show you that the existing Eclipse is a Java-based version. Okay? So it looks fine, but the problem is it doesn't help us to Scala and Spark edits as we want to. Okay? So we'll be typing in Scala codes. So that's sort of difficult. Okay? So I think I clicked it too many times. So as you can see, this is the older version of Spark, which is Spark 1 code, and this package is put in this place to be able to test the code. So I'm not going to use this. I'm going to use the latest version. So I'm going to close this project so that it doesn't disturb me. So I've closed the code as well. So you can see that right now I don't have Scala IDE here. I only have JDK and Spark, which we used in the previous ones. So the next job is to bring in the latest Scala IDE. So this is the URL. So I open a browser again here. Okay. And then let me see if I can copy over and bring this inside. Okay, so I'm going to select the path. You can also Google for SBT, whichever is easy for you. Okay, so Scala IDE org download. You can see that we have this Linux kernel, which is interesting. So I'm going to select that, save the file first. And what happens is it usually goes and sits inside the downloads folder. So what I can do is I can copy this and bring this to Cloudera home and save it here. Okay, so that's one way. Or I can use a command line to move the file. Okay, so all I just need is the Scala version. So I just say open a terminal here and I say ls, you'll be able to see the Scala download here. So you've got to unzip it, just say tar. The reason we are unzipping in this folder is it should go and sit inside your existing Eclipse folder. So you know how to unzip it, right? So mine is xvf, extract verbose file, Scala. You press your tab, it gets into the right file format, and then you can see that. So just go ahead and then click on the enter, right? And that should unzip all the folders. So it's done. And as you can see that that's sort of modified the Eclipse. So if you don't trust me, you don't need the zip file anymore. You can do just have a copy of it in downloads, right? So that's good enough. So I'm going to start everything, see how it's working, including the kernel. So now start the Eclipse. You see it is different. It's getting the latest version, which is Oxygen, and that basically is going to point you to the. So it says the workspace is connected to an older version of Eclipse. I'm fine. I'm just going to say upgrade. So this should start Eclipse Scala IDE. So you'll see that the IDE is slightly different from what you're used to seeing in the previous screen. And you see then you'll be able to see the Java perspective. If you want, you can check into the Scala perspective, which could be the default. And so easy for you. Okay, so if you look at the menu, for example, Windows Preferences, you'll be able to see the Scala menu, you'll be able to see the Scala compiler, okay, and the installations, anything that you would like to use, right? So you can add more installations, remove whatever you want. Okay, so these are generally the settings that you need to understand in order for you to be able to use Scala. So right now you can see that it is targeting JVM8. You already have a JVM8. Okay, so and that basically means your Scala IDE installation is good and ready to go. So let's go into the next step. Next step is to install the Scala Build tool. Okay, so for that you need to do a few things. Okay, so let's start doing that. So Scala SBT download. So this download page may not be the right page, but we'll start there. So if you go into the SBT tools, the build tool, it gives you the zip file. Okay, it's a bit tricky to install from here, So this is Scala build 2. I think this should be okay. So what we're going to do is the CURL. Okay? But you need the CURL in the first place, right? Then you can go ahead and install it. So these are the commands that you need in order for you to install the SBT. So I'll open a terminal. The first thing I'll do is I'll say sudo yum. So in case the CURL has to update, I'll update that first, right? So say CURL .x86 _ 64. So this will make sure that the CURL by itself is updated. So you can see there are a few other updates that it has to bring in, so it's going to go ahead and do that. So wait for that to complete. It also checks whether all other packages inside the operating system is done and updated. So yeah, so it says that there's a few things about the CURL and the library CURL that it needs to upgrade. So I'm going to say yes, go ahead and do that. So it's also going to say the CentOS OS upgrade. So I'm going to say yes to do that as well. So done. So once the CURL is updated, my next job is to bring the CURL to the right repository. So I'm going to say CURL, go to this bin tray and bring the right repository. So I'm going to copy the command, come here and say, I can copy here and say, bring the SBT RPM. Okay. There's a connector. Am I right? I shouldn't get that. Let me see. I open a new terminal. Let's see if that is. Okay. Let me figure out what's going on. Okay, so this is what I figured out from the internet. But sometimes what happens is the CURL page is outdated. You remember we just installed the latest CURL, right? So I wanted to see if I'm running the right Java version, which is fine. Java 8 is running. And then when I connected CURL again, I could see there's a SSL error. So I sort of figured out that the CURL is updated, but the NSS, which is the Network Security Service, is not updated. So I had to give the command yum update y -y NSS. So that sort of updated. Of course, I forgot the super user NSS update. So it picks the mirror, it completely downloads all the dependencies, and it installs the latest NSS. So once I've done that, the next time when I say CURL binary SBT RPM, you can see that it simply goes through. So the next job is to move the repository. So I'm going to copy the next command and issue it here. It should go through because it's just the final copy movement of the repository. And then, of course, I'm going to say, please install the SBT. Okay. So it gets the plugins loaded, and of course, it's going to ask you whether the download is fine. I say yes. It gets all the latest for platform, and then the SBT is installed. So if you want to know about SBT, SBT is a very simple build tool. So you can learn about it from the documentation. So it talks a lot about the different kind of features and how you can use SBT to do build configuration. And of course, it also gives you some simple command line reference cards about how you can get the SBT version started to do tasks like compilation, testing, and so on and so forth. So sort of easy to use, but we don't have to use all the command line and simple tasks. We could simply start running the configuration file and then create templates. So the interesting part about SBT is SBT helps you to create templates for Scala projects. It creates templates for Spark projects. It's basically managing all the needed library files by the build tool. So if you want to start with very simple example, you could create a folder, you could create a build.sbt and then start seeing how it works. To just start the shell for SBT, you have to give the SBT command. Then it says that the shell is launched. And of course, it waits for you to give further commands. If there is no SBT found in that particular folder, it's going to tell you that there is no build tool or build file found for you to work on it. And what you do is you could exit the shell by saying exit. Okay? So it's going to take some time because it recursively searches for any SBT files in all the subfolders and then try to help you out with finding the right tool and so on and so forth. So this is the installation part. Since we have successfully completed the installation part, I'm closing my part 3 video here. The only tool that I've left to cover is Zeppelin. I thought Zeppelin we could do it as a separate add-on video, because otherwise the image is going to be a bit large. So in case you decided to use Zeppelin, we will show you another separate installation video for Zeppelin. That is like 2 or 3 commands, but that gets your Zeppelin notebook installed, and then you can get started doing query using Zeppelin. So this is how the installation videos are done, and that completes the full image installation video instructions. Right? So I'm going to make another video that talks about the overall quick virtual machine. Makes you familiar with the different tools that you're using, of course, and also any other shortcuts or things that you got to understand in order for you to create a project and then run a project and then be able to, sort of create your own workspace, build tools, and so on and so forth. So with this, I'm going to close all the installation instruction videos, and I'm going to pack this image and then put it on the Dropbox and share it with you folks, so that you can get a copy of the latest version with all the new tools installed. Okay, so then you're set to go for building interesting Scala Spark applications on the go. And hopefully your C projects will be able to demonstrate an end-to-end pipeline using all these tools. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and that completes the full installation set instructions. Good night.